Our position previews continue on orange and blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason talking about the inside linebackers, and it's different without Justin Simmons on the field, Mace. It also is without Josey. We got real used to Josey, some real good play from Josey Jewell, and so did Alex Singleton. We'll play that in a bit, but ILB is different now.
It's different. Just as safety is different without Justin Simmons. Maybe Josey Jewell doesn't have the same cachet, doesn't have the Pro Bowls and second-team All-Pro nods on his CV, but he meant an awful lot to the Broncos while he was here, and certainly worked really well with Alex Singleton the last couple of years. They had that unspoken communication. They were on the same page. They had a symbiosis together. You and I talked with Josey back in January, and we could kind of see the writing on the wall. We knew where this was going.
Yep.
It's tough to look out there and not see him. Kind of like what we're seeing number 31 worn by a corner when we see number 47 worn by a punter. Takes some getting used to.
It does. Alex Singleton talked earlier this offseason about no Josey Jewell out there. Here's what Alex had to say.
I mean, you can ask Jonas and Cody and Justin, those guys, that I've taken reps with. There's times I'm like, hey, Josey, whoever is out here. It's just so natural to, have played with him really the last 2 years. So, yeah. But like I said, I'm happy for him. We still talk almost every day. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a connection, and that on-field, that unspoken stuff, that takes time. Time that, honestly, Mace, I don't think we have with the new guys, whoever the opposite new guy is.
Yeah, and very similar to the quarterback position, very similar to the center position. It's a pretty liberal rotation in trying to figure out who that new guy is. You'd say Cody Barton has the edge, and that's because of the intent of signing him as an unrestricted free agent. But we had a show a few weeks ago where we talked about players who jumped out in OTAs, but not necessarily for the right reasons. And for you, Cody Barton was a player who didn't jump out for the right reasons.
Yeah, too many almost pass breakups or picks. And I'm not expecting picks, but there was too many of those clap plays is what I called it. It was like, damn it, I was right there. No, you were right there. And you saw the positive, Mace, right? The yin and the yang of OBT. And
he was in there. He was there. He was right in position to make a play.
Right.
He wasn't 2 steps slow. He was a tick slow.
Right.
You can make up the tick. You can't make up 2 steps.
Well, and here's the other thing. Look at who he was covering. So part of the conversation is is Cody Barton struggling in coverage? Oh, not really. Is Lucas Kroll better than anybody is thinking? Because Cody Barton, I'm not saying he couldn't cover him, but that's where those clap plays came from.
You had to bring in Lucas Kroll, friend of the program.
Friend of the show.
Yes.
Right? But Cody Barton is a player that you're expecting that coverage ability. And honestly, a Singleton-Barton combination, that sounds pretty good to me.
It sounds pretty good because their strengths play well off each other if they're playing to their strengths. With Alex Singleton, of course, it's in the box, it's attacking, using him on the blitz, being there to clean up what's left over if the D-line is doing its job. The D-line is improved drastically. I would argue the most improved unit on the team so far. And that should help make Alex Singleton's job at the second level a lot easier. It should also help Cody Barton as well, but Barton is the coverage backer among these two. So it's kind of obvious, and maybe you mix it up on occasion, but by and large, if you've got them both in there on a third down, Alex is going to be maybe used as a blitzing linebacker, part of the attack on a quarterback, and Barton is the guy who's dropping into coverage, taking a running back or a tight end who's flaring out. Ideally, he provides something in coverage that we have not seen from the Broncos at inside linebacker since, as you mentioned a few shows back, Danny Trevathan on the Super Bowl 50 team.
Love Danny Trevathan.
Danny T.
Yeah, love him. Players All-Star Classic, Mace. The only year, there was 1 year they did that game in Little Rock, and I was there with Chad Ryder.
Yep. And a combine invitee who had a very bad combine workout, and he went boom down radars as a result of that. But you know me, I love the guys who have great film, but a combine workout that makes everyone start questioning because the film hasn't gone away. And oh, by the way, Danny Trevathan having that film in the SEC. Right. It was one of the wiser picks of the John Elway era. It was the second John Elway draft, which meant it was the last draft with which Brian Sanders was involved.
There was a combination. Right. There was a combination.
That.
Let's talk about a guy who had good film, bad combine, and I was out on Justin Sternad. You've always alerted me, because I said he had some of the worst measurables in the history of the combine, not just a bad combine. We're talking about some of the worst to ever be recorded at his position. And you've always retorted with me, Mace, of he's hurt. He was hurt.
Yeah.
Well, okay. And he's been hurt in the pros, but also now is he typecast in terms of he's a special teams guy. And that's it.
Possibly. Now that can give you a job. And in this brave new world of kickoffs, and I feel like we come back to this on a lot of shows, but it really is going to have a profound impact on back of the roster construction. And that's why you keep coming back to it. Somebody with his special teams wisdom and skills, as you're going into this new environment on kickoffs, where not only could every kickoff have the potential to go all the way in the other direction, but you're effectively nearly doubling the number of active special teams plays where something could really happen. Because kickoffs, if it was going out of the end zone, it was an exercise in boredom most of the time. Now you're setting it up to where every kickoff could matter and could be a game-turning play. And we know how Sean Payton values special teams, spends more time than almost any other head coach on it in a practice. And I would argue last year the special teams improvement maybe was the single biggest reason why the Broncos went from 5 to 8 wins.
Yes.
As some other areas like the defense declined.
Yes. Yep. It cannot be overlooked, and it's always part of this conversation when we're thinking about roster construction. And then what does that mean for the rest of the guys, the rest of the group, which Alex Singleton seems to like. Here's Alex talking about his compadres, his group of ILBs.
It's really, Jonas hasn't gotten a ton of reps in the last really 2 years, ever since his, injury last year and then the year before that. So I would say both the newer, just to the defense, both playing really well. I think it's coming fast, especially to Cody, who hasn't, been in the system at all. It's exciting. It's fun when, guys are going to compete. I think it brings the best out of everybody. So it's fun and keeps us all going.
So Alex says it's coming fast for Cody Barton. Okay. So let's take a look at Cody in this defense. Compare with Jonas, who, yes, didn't play last year, but did get the mental reps and did get all the classroom work to learn the scheme.
Sure. Right.
And Alex Singleton, who played in the scheme last year. And everybody that you hear on the defensive side that talks about the scheme, they'll say it's simpler. And then, oh, by the way, here we are in year 2. Not only has VJ simplified it, but we know the nomenclature, we know the language. Zach Allen talked about this up front. He's not thinking, he's just playing. Cody Barton's still thinking because he's getting it down. But what happens when he has the scheme down and he's just playing? Does that make up that tick that I talked about earlier? The tick behind, like you say, the clap plays I just missed. Does he make those plays once he's learned the defense and he's not having to think?
He's reacting.
And if he does, and he's reacting and not thinking, then you're feeling pretty good about Cody Barton, number 55 in your program.
Yeah, and I'm feeling pretty good because Alex Singleton's always been a lunch pail guy. And, we've heard PJ Locke's talked about this, about like, there's really you're not comfortable, not uncomfortable, right? But it's not like Alex Singleton just like, I don't know, I made it, and these guys, whatever. Like, he's smiling about the competition, and it's pushing him to be better as well.
Exactly. Even though his role seems assured because they're not rotating him.
Right.
They're rotating everyone else. Alex is, he's probably getting the green dot as well. And of course, the green dot means he's the one relaying the plays. The green dot's one of those signs that says you're playing every down.
Yep.
You're the alpha in that group. Alex is the alpha in that group. Now, what you hope, and this is another thing that goes into knowing the defense, not having to adjust to a new scheme and reacting rather than thinking, does Alex Singleton get that tick faster too? Because one very fair critique of a lot of people of Alex Singleton is that while he posts great tackle numbers, a fair amount of them are in chase mode. Like he can pursue really well, but there's some pursuit from behind going on. Of course, Alex Singleton came to Denver in 2022. New scheme with Ejiro Evero. Stays in 2023. VJ bringing in his defense, but trying to incorporate what Evero does. Well, now you have the same thing from year to year. And if anything, it's simplified compared to where it was last year. So you're taking off the plate of players and you're trying to let them play. And maybe that allows Alex Singleton to make the kind of plays that we see he's been close to making the last couple of years. Like you remember in Seattle, week 1, 2022, just missed on that blitz of Geno Smith that led to an early touchdown pass. Is he making those plays now that he's in year 2 in a scheme and he's not thinking, he's reacting?
And Vance Joseph creating where he can be a take-on guy instead of a chase guy. And this is where defensive line comes into the conversation, because if you've got the big guys, keeping the big guys off of you and you can seek and destroy, basically Alex Singleton is a heat-seeking missile.
Yes.
So if he's able to program himself like, I'm attacking this gap, and the big guys make sure that gap is maintained, you're going to see a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage and on the other side.
Just as long as that heat-seeking missile doesn't lead to a bad penalty.
Or he reads it wrong.
Yeah. The Houston game. I mean, that was a rough moment. That was a rough day for everybody. But it was probably roughest of all for Alex Singleton on the defensive side.
Right.
And that one sticks in his craw. He's still looking to atone for that.
We'll see what he can do this year with whoever next to him, but inside linebacker one to really watch. It's why when we're ranking in our position battle show to kind of kick off this thing, we ranked it up there because this is a big one and the impact on this team will be large and felt as well.
Yeah, and don't forget, we didn't mention Lavelle Bailey, a guy who even rotated in with the ones as well. Undrafted rookie out of Fresno State, 6'2", 225. And again, it's going to be special teams for him. What kind of potential does he show? I mean, I know this is cliched to say in Broncos country. With someone like Lavelle Bailey, you're looking for that Terrell Davis moment. That just jumps out. And if he can have that kind of moment, he's got a chance. One of plenty of undrafted players who's got a chance to stick on this 53.
Right. And so much so coaches are already talking about him.
Yep. When Sean Payton's talking about you, it's a good sign.
You're the kid from Fresno right now.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you'll be Lavelle.
Yeah.
Making plays. We were just a couple of scrappy kids doing a YouTube show, and now it's a juggernaut.
I like that.
We want more from you. Please help us grow our YouTube channel. And if you like Orange and Blue today and love us, then how can you help us out on YouTube, Mace?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
and hit that notification bell.
so that you
Never
never
miss
miss
a vid.
vid.
You have to change it up and shake it up sometimes, Cecil.
Surprise.
You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Jazz
especially here in the horse latitudes of the off season.
Oh, that's right. That is correct. He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT's a BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. And would you please stay frosty?